best of them, tougher than leather. You can call me Knuckles. Unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle. I'd rather flex my muscles. I'm hard as nails. It ain't hard to tell. I break them down whether they solid or frail. Unlike the rest, I'm independent since my first breath. First test, feel the right, then the worst left.
Born on an island in the heavens. The blood of my ancestors flows inside.
Oh boy, I'm a lucky man. A really lucky man indeed. Now that is because today, I get to talk about Sonic, a franchise I have a strange relationship with. It's a series of blue, red shoes, edgelords, and a divided fanbase locked in a never-ending war. A war of death, destruction, and neckbeards. But before I get into any of that, I would like to preface this video by saying that the Sonic series is one that I grew up with, and that I, like many others, have a soft spot for the games. That being said, Sonic can be a polarizing topic. As I briefly mentioned before, the fanbase can be rather decisive, with some people taking their opinions a little too far. Some people say that the Genesis games are the best, others say that the Dreamcast games are superior, and a new wave of fans have arisen in the past few years preferring the modern titles. And there are some who say the series isn't even good at all. What fools. I pity them. As I said, some people take these opinions to the extreme. Just look at the comments of any Sonic Forces video. You'll see what I mean. It's literally a war zone. A battle of neckbeards, if you will. And trust me, they don't take prisoners. Moving on, there's the era that the fans have dubbed the Dreamcast era, consisting of Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, and Sonic Heroes. While many have a seething hatred for the adventure games in particular, I actually kind of like the games for the most part. That's not to say that the games don't have their issues. Then again, every game is flawed, so that's not saying much. But recently, many YouTubers have been making videos tearing apart these games, laughing in the faces of those who once enjoyed them, telling how they are wrong for liking something.
I love you, Umaru.
Ahem. That brings us to the topic of today's review, Sonic Adventure. I'm going to review the GameCube remakes, but I will use clips of the original for comparison purposes. This video is a long one, so let's get into it.
So you thought you were going to review Sonic Adventure without me noticing, huh? Okay. Well, we got a good lawyer. This is a business after all. Nothing personal, kid.
I am the roughest of waves. I'm the toughest of terrors. I am the darkest of days.
Who is that nutcase that just intruded into my video? All I can say is that I hope he doesn't come back, or make any collabs with me in the future. What a total psychopath. Anyways, let's begin my unforgettable romp into a world where a blue rodent runs fast. The game has a larger story told through the 6 different perspectives of the playable characters that all connect with each other. On top of that, there are cutscenes, voice acting, and even some character development sprinkled in here and there. So for those of you who are interested in the extensive Sonic lore, this is your lucky day. I consider myself to be a scholar in Sonic the Hedgehog lore, so you can rest assured I'm not one of those filthy casuals like some people I know. Not giving any names, I don't even want to waste my time on those uneducated fools. But without any more stalling, let me give you a look into this plot. So grab some popcorn, Code Red Mountain Dew, your Razer Deathstalker Essential Gaming Keyboard, and a pair of scissors just in case things go sour. As I stated, there are multiple storylines in the game, so I'll give a quick synopsis for each, starting with the Blue Boy himself. We open with this wonderful scene that the internet won't let you forget about.
Oh yeah! This is happening.
I'll touch on the voice acting later, but as you saw, our boy Blahnik is having the most happening evening ever when he sees the police chasing after this blue monster thing. You fight him and then Sonic says this beautiful line.
Come on, you big drip! Where you going?
These lines are the best. But then we see Dr. Eggman standing on a rooftop for some reason. And he tells us that the Big Drip is Chaos, the god of destruction. That's what they used to call me in school. Those were the days. This is all great monologue, but what we really want to know is but some things will never be found out, I guess. Next we see our pal Fast Blue at the swimming pool when he sees Tails almost crash his plane into the city, killing everybody. What a klutz, am I right, guys? Luckily, he only crashed on the beach and for some reason needs Tannic to come and get him. So after a finger-licking good stage, we find Tails and we learn that he has one of the 7 Chaos Emeralds, and that he wants to show us something at his workshop. And he says the fastest way is by train. I know this is kind of beating a dead horse here, but isn't Sonic the fastest thing alive? Why does he need to take a train?
But I digress.
So once they get there, they find a giant talking egg awaiting them. You have an excruciatingly easy boss fight with him, but Tails is such a bumbling fool that he manages to get his Dragon Ball stolen. Egg Boy then explains his entire plan to his enemies, I guess, and tells them that he's feeding Chaos the 7 legendary plot devices to become a big boy and destroy everything. So young Sheldon can build Robotnik Land on the remains. So for the rest of Sonic's story, he has to get the emeralds before Eggman does. Along the way, he runs into other playable characters, climbs aboard the egg carrier, Eggman's new ship, loses Tails, goes into some ancient temple and beats up the egg-shaped man himself, ending his storyline. Tails' story is relatively the same, but with Tails getting some time to shine near the end when him and Sonic are separated. Knuckles' story involves him reclaiming the pieces of the Master Emerald after they are shattered by Chaos. Amy's story is about her finding this bird and running away from this robot thing named Zero. Wait a second, Zero? Is that you? Gamma, one of Eggman's robots, goes on missions until he decides to kill all of his robot friends because he talked to Amy. Okay. But his storyline does end with a great scene of him releasing the bird that was inside of him. Then we have Big the Cat. He's fishing for his frog. I don't even have a joke. But all during this red circle named Takala is showing all the characters the past and the origins of Chaos. That about does it for the general story. I know I'm skipping over huge details, but if I don't, we'll be here all day. And I don't plan to sit here writing scripts all day about a story of a blue rat and his pals. I'm trying to stay as far away from the story as possible. Not because it's a bad story, mind you, it's just that explaining it is a nightmare. Because there's all the different perspectives, it's a complete dumpster fire talking about it to people. In most reviews I've seen of this game, you can just hear the pain and suffering the speaker is going through just by listening to them explain the plot.
You mean like in my review?
How does he keep getting in here? Why won't this maniac leave me alone? Anyways, my thoughts on the plot as a whole? I'm actually in the small percentage of people who like it. It's no masterpiece by any means, but if you're looking for a masterpiece storyline in a Sonic game, then there's something wrong with you. People seem to complain of plot holes, cheesy dialogue, and voice acting. But I would say it enhances the experience, in my opinion. I'm pretty stupid, so I don't actually notice any of the plot holes, but when they're there, they don't really detract from the game. But cheesy dialogue and voice acting? Are you kidding me? These lines are legendary. Like this one.
Watch out! You're gonna crash! Ah!
Oh, and who can forget this masterpiece?
Oh no.
All jokes aside, Sonic Team really tried to give this game a story to remember, and it really succeeds, at least I think. Some could argue that Sonic Adventure 2's story, for as many issues that it has, is more engaging, and you'd be right. But something great about the adventure games as a whole, absent from the new titles, is character development. I find it neat that Sega wanted to expand upon the characters that so many people loved beforehand. That all being said, after you complete all the storylines, the last one is opened up, giving you the game's true ending, which I'll get to near the end of this video. Before jumping straight into the gameplay, an important thing of note is the voice casting. Voice acting in Sonic games was a new thing at this point, so finding just the right voice was very important. For the first time, you'd be officially granting a voice to previously silent characters. They had to be really careful, but did they succeed? Well, as you probably saw, the delivery for some of these lines is subpar at best, but I'm not going to blame the voice actors for this. I believe the voice director may be the one to blame, not the VAs themselves. I actually think the voice of the voice actors fit the characters quite nicely. Their direction does improve over time, but I would have to say that this is probably my favorite set of actors that the Sonic series has had. Hats off to you, Mr. Drummond. He's probably my favorite Sonic VA. I'm not a huge fan of the others, but I can admit that Roger Craig Smith does an okay Scronic voice. But his best work lies in this Pizza Hut commercial. It's what keeps me going in life. I've never heard anyone make stuffed crust sound so enticing.
It's unlike anything you've ever seen. For just $12.99, choose from 2 ultimate recipes for your crust. Meaty, packed with pepperoni, Italian sauce.
Aw, yeah, stuffed crust.
Pepperoni. Then meaty.
In this game, like I have stated, there are 6 gameplay storylines to play through, and after beating each one unlocks the final story. There's Speedy Blue, Smart Orange, Strong Red, Annoying Pink, He Who Shall Not Be Named, and Robot Man. Let's start with Sonic because he has the longest campaign with a total of 10 stages, and he's the one that you play first to unlock the other playable characters. I can say with almost complete certainty that he has the funnest gameplay style, and he's usually the reason people go back to play this game. Akin to the Genesis games, Sonic goes from point A to point B in a speedy fashion, with branching pathways, power-ups, and the occasional set piece here and there. Since obviously this is now in the 3rd dimension, the formula would have to be shaken up, so Sonic Team made the greatest thing to ever exist. That's right, I'm talking about the homing attack. Whenever I hear people talk about this game, they never seem to mention how satisfying it is to use. By jumping and hitting the jump button again in the air, Sonic can hone in on enemies, springs, and even do this useful air dash that is great for picking up speed very quickly. Just look at this thing go! Nothing can stop me now! A thing I can appreciate about these stages is that the gameplay is shaken up every now and then for the sake of variety and spectacle. One moment you could be playing the stage, then bam, this orca whale is chasing you. You could argue that this is only spectacle and no substance, but to those people I say lighten up. You don't go on a roller coaster and leave saying, that was too much spectacle, no player control. No, of course you wouldn't say that, you foolish novices. Lastly, all the action stages, all the fun parts, are connected by 3 hub worlds, where you access new stages and find upgrades. Well, I would have preferred no hub worlds in this case. It doesn't bother me too much. I just don't like having to push through them. I feel this game could have done without including hub worlds, but it's fine. You don't typically stay in them for too long. But anyways, that's most of what I have to say for Sonic's gameplay. We still have 5 more to go. Tails goes through almost the exact same stages as the old Fast Man, but with a twist. You race him! It's strangely satisfying using Tails' flight ability to look for shortcuts to beat Sonic. As I mentioned, it is cool to see him get character development. Next, let's talk about the Knuckles campaign.
Sounds like a lot of... Oh no! It sounds like a lot... Oh no! Sounds like a... Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Yes! Finally! I've waited far too long for this! Nipples the Enchilada is searching for the shattered pieces of the Master Emerald using this radar system. In this game, collecting the pieces as Knuckles is satisfying, because the radar feels like it actually works. This isn't the case in some other game. Next on the chopping block is Pink Girl, who has to make it to the end of her stages without being caught by this guy. I'm very indifferent to her stages, but it's fun to do this triple jump with her hammer. Gamma has an interesting playstyle that involves him shooting down other robots with a lock-on to raise the depleting time limit. It's a good time, but that ringing noise that plays when you lock on to enemies annoys me to no end.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Please, make it stop! For the love of humanity! I've saved the best for last. You all love him. I idolize him. It's the god himself, Big the Cat. He is undoubtedly the greatest thing to ever come out of video games. His gameplay is masterfully crafted, breathtaking, and a sight to behold. Who am I to spoil the wonders that this cat provides? His gameplay is a true testament to what this medium can truly contain, what it can be as an art form. Me just simply explaining to you what Big does would never be able to do it justice. That being said, I'm furious they didn't make his return in Sonic Adventure 2. Even though fans were clamoring for his return, Sega just didn't go through with it. This is why you don't make consoles anymore, you animals! That just about wraps up the gameplay. It's something that this game gets right most of the time. I personally love the variety the game provides. This game's presentation is kind of a mixed bag. The environments look pretty good but somewhat feel lacking in polish. But the animations for the character models, especially during cutscenes, look abysmal. The models themselves look much better in the GameCube remake, but the animation still isn't fixed there. The lip syncing is way off and the facial movements are laughably janky in both versions. Luckily, the game's cutscenes fall under so bad it's good territory. But you know what isn't a mixed bag? The soundtrack. I absolutely love this game's music. It can be atmospheric, catchy, and is always fun to listen to. One of my favorite aspects of the adventure games is that the characters get their own vocal tracks. They're extremely cheesy, sure, but I love them nonetheless. And then best of all, the Knuckles raps. I don't care if you disagree with me, these raps are the pinnacle of human creation. Overall, the game has a great soundtrack and the visuals aren't too bad, but definitely could be better. So after you've beaten all the storylines, the final one has opened up. It turned out that Chaos wasn't actually defeated on the egg carrier and found the 7 Chaos Pickles, turning him to perfect chaos. With the city flooded, it's here where you turn into Super Tanic. And you have a climactic final battle, with the main theme playing in the background. Just listen to that.
Run for shelter. What's gonna happen to us? All the things we take up, we need to make up. I messed with lyrics.
Not him again! Get out of my life! Anyway, this is a fun boss fight and a great way to cap off this adventure. Sonic Adventure 1 is a fun game. I think it's definitely worth your time. It's important to develop your own opinion on a game before you judge it, but this is made difficult due in part to the people who blindly hate SA1 or blindly love it for that matter. Thank you for watching, and if you liked it, subscribe if you want. Have a great day.
You got power. Brushing the mountain on this street they shore. You know what you...
Hey, I just wanted to say thanks for watching again, and I'm really sorry this video took so long. But I hope it was worth the wait, and again, have a nice day.
You're too slow, you're too slow, you're too slow. Come on, step it up. You're too slow, you're too slow, you're too slow. Come on, step it up. Sonic's not cheap, he's just fast. Sonic's not cheap, he's just fast. Sonic's not cheap, he's just fast. You're too slow, come on, step it up. Sonic's the name, speed's my game. Sonic's the name, you're too slow. Sonic's the name, speed's my game. Sonic's the name, come on, step it up. You're too slow, you're